Imagine walking into a room with two people who were born on the exact same day, 45 years ago. On paper, they are identical. But as you look closer, one has this vibrant energy, sharp focus, and a clear complexion, while the other looks perpetually exhausted, perhaps a bit inflamed, and moves with a certain heaviness. It makes you realize that the candles on our birthday cake might actually be lying to us about how old we really are.
It's a powerful visual, isn't it? And it hits on a truth that modern biology is finally starting to quantify. We've always treated aging as this linear, unstoppable march dictated by the calendar. But what we're seeing now is that chronological age, the number of years you've been alive, is actually a very blunt instrument. The real story is happening at a cellular level, which we call biological age. It's essentially a measure of how well your internal systems are functioning compared to where they should be for your age.
So, if chronological age is just a record of time, biological age is more like a performance review for your body? I'm curious, though. If the calendar isn't the boss here, what actually determines that internal number? Is it just the luck of the genetic draw? Or is there more to the machinery?
Genetics certainly provide the blueprint, but they aren't the whole story. Think of your body like a high-performance vehicle. Two people might buy the same car in the same year, but if one person changes the oil, uses premium fuel, and keeps it in a garage, while the other redlines the engine and ignores the maintenance lights, those two cars are going to age very differently. In humans, that maintenance comes down to things like systemic inflammation, mitochondrial health, and how our nervous system handles stress. We're finding that our biology actually has a memory. It remembers the late nights, the chronic stress, and the periods of poor recovery.
That's a bit haunting. The idea that our biology remembers. It suggests that we're constantly writing our own physiological history. You mentioned the nervous system and stress. We often talk about stress as a mental burden, but how does it actually translate into rust on our biological gears? Is there a direct link between a high-pressure job and, say, cellular decay?
Absolutely. It's not just a feeling, it's a chemical reality. When we're under chronic stress, our body is flooded with cortisol and inflammatory markers. Over time, this constant alarm mode starts to fray our telomeres, the protective caps on our DNA, and creates what scientists call genomic instability. It's like running a laptop with 20 tabs open and the telomeres are tabbing, fan whirring at max speed all day long. Eventually, the hardware starts to degrade. The most fascinating part is the connection to heart rate variability, or HRV. It's a window into our autonomic nervous system. A high HRV usually signals a resilient, flexible system that can bounce back. A low HRV over a long period? That's often a red flag that the body is struggling to recover, which can accelerate the biological clock.
It's interesting you bring up recovery because it feels like the missing piece in the longevity conversation. We're so obsessed with doing. More exercise, more work, more supplements, but it sounds like the not doing might be just as important. I've heard sleep described as a longevity tool, but that sounds almost too simple. Is sleep really doing something as profound as repairing our DNA?
It's arguably the most potent biohack we have, and it's free. During deep sleep, your brain literally flushes out metabolic waste, a process called the glymphatic system. It's also when your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, undergo their own version of a maintenance cycle. If you skip that, you're essentially trying to run a city on a power grid that's falling apart. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired, it creates a state of metabolic dysregulation that mimics a much older body. It's why people who sleep poorly often show signs of accelerated biological aging in their blood work.
So we have this picture of a body that is dynamic, not fixed, which leads to the million-dollar question. Can we actually turn the clock back? If someone realizes their biological age is 10 years older than their driver's license says, is that a permanent sentence? Or can they negotiate with their biology?
The data is actually quite hopeful. We're seeing that biological age is surprisingly plastic. There have been studies showing that targeted lifestyle interventions optimizing nutrition, specific types of exercise like VO2 max training, and rigorous stress management can actually shift epigenetic markers in a positive direction. It's not about reversing aging in a science fiction sense, where you become a teenager again, but rather about closing the gap between your current health and your peak potential. We're talking about bio-optimization. However, we have to be careful. There's a rising longevity extremism where people obsess over every single data point and supplement, which can ironically create its own form of stress.
Right. The irony of being so stressed about longevity that you actually age yourself faster. It's a bit of a paradox. If we move away from that obsessive optimization culture, what does a healthy relationship with our biological age actually look like? Is it about tracking everything, or is it about finding a specific rhythm?
I think the future lies in health intelligence rather than just health tracking. It's not about the number of steps, it's about the relationship between your effort and your recovery. This is where the next generation of wearables, like the OXYZEN ring, comes in. Instead of just giving you a pile of data, the goal is to interpret the whispers of your body. Your body usually tries to tell you it's redlining long before a major health issue develops. If we can see those subtle shifts in our HRV or our sleep architecture, we can make small, surgical adjustments to our lifestyle. It's about building a body that is resilient enough to handle the modern world without breaking down.
That's a profound shift in perspective. Instead of waiting for something to break and then fixing it, we're talking about listening to the whispers and adjusting the sails in real time. It makes me wonder about the long-term societal impact. If we all started focusing on biological resilience rather than just treating symptoms, how would our approach to life change?
It would change everything. We'd stop viewing aging as a period of inevitable decline and start viewing it as a period of managed vitality. The goal shouldn't be to live forever, but to ensure that our health span, the period of life spent in good health, matches our lifespan as closely as possible. We're moving toward a world where preventive physiology is the norm. Imagine a future where your biological age is a standard metric you check, not out of fear, but as a way to understand how much life you're putting into your years.
It's a much more empowered way to live. It turns the process of aging from a mystery into a conversation between you and your own biology. To wrap things up, if someone is listening to this and feeling a bit overwhelmed by the idea of cellular decay and mitochondrial health, what's the one simple thing they should focus on today to start lowering that biological burden?
If I had to pick one, it would be to respect the rhythm of recovery. Our modern world is designed to be always on, but our biology evolved for cycles of stress followed by deep rest. Whether that's prioritizing a consistent sleep window or just taking 5 minutes of intentional breathing to reset your nervous system after a stressful meeting, those small acts of recovery are what keep the biological clock from ticking too fast. Your body is incredibly resilient, but it needs the space to do its job.
It's a beautiful thought to end on, that the most advanced longevity tool we have might just be the permission to rest and recover. It's not about fighting time, it's about working with it. As we've discussed, your age is a number, but your resilience is a choice. This has been a fascinating deep dive into the clock we all carry inside us.
It really is the ultimate frontier. We're just beginning to understand how much influence we truly have over our own biological destiny. The goal isn't perfection, it's just better understanding the whispers of the body before they become shouts.
And that is the essence of health intelligence. Thank you for sharing these insights. For everyone listening, perhaps take a moment today to listen to what your own body might be whispering. We'll see you in the next episode.